Hello and welcome to the IDNI team update for the Tau project. It's the February update and you're here with me, Fola. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Karim for his overview this month.
Thank you, Fola. Welcome everybody to the February update for our Tau project. On the Agoras Live side, Andre has continued to making progress towards the release of the Agoras Live platform. The last feature he had to implement was a backup and restoring of the user's encrypted storage in the browser side. But he also spent a lot of time on the testing side. That's why we decided to bring in a tester, a full-time tester, to help him with those tasks. And the only major impediment there to the release is the payment gateway integration. So we're looking at integration with wallets and on-ramps very heavily next week. On the interface side, Moaz continued to refine the design of the homepage and the browsing of the category to make discovery of channels and knowledge providers much easier. Our newest member of the team that you met last time, Luca, has hit the ground running very nicely. Ohad trying to introduce him to the technology and the project, assigned him a few introductory tasks, like familiarizing himself with the binary decision diagram, which is a core feature of our platform. He also managed to implement a QBF solver, which is a very nice achievement in itself. He's also, Luca has been participating actively in our discussion with our academic panel, namely Dr. Franconi and Benz Mueller, and that is no small achievement. On the continuing with the TML development, Tomash has been working really hard on the TML IDE. He fixed several bugs and made many minor improvements to the UI. And he added several very important features, such as the ability to call out to JavaScript from within TML. He also added a number of settings and made them persistent in the local browser storage, and continued to add to the regression tests, and for both for scripts and for built-ins into TML. So a lot of nice progress. The TML IDE there is coming in very handily. We're actually using it almost on a daily basis by every member of our team here. So it's becoming a very useful tool for us, and that's what it's meant to be. Juan has been working with Ohad, as you know, on the migration from ERC20 to OmniLayer to RC20. We've completed some swaps this week, as you'll hear more from Ohad. So that was a major progress. However, we're running into the fact that recently, as you probably all know, Ethereum gas fees have gone up quite a bit, and that's becoming a potential problem for us on the Agoras Live. So we're looking into alternative methods of payment, such as off-chain and other well-known mechanisms. I'll let Juan tell you more about it later. But also, very importantly, on the TML side, Juan has been or has started work on a second-order logic algorithm that Ohad has just invented and spent a few hours explaining to us last week. So that's a very good development right there on the TML side. Maurici has been hard at work also on the TML side, continuing with his implementations of the program transformations and optimizations of the interpreter. He put in 2 more optimizations, such as low arity relations, and he removed some rules that were slow to sync. So that's starting to show some improvements in performance of TML. We also did a very lengthy code review with him for all of the features that he implemented recently with CQC. And he actually managed to merge all of that code into the main branch after implementing the team's feedback. So that was a major accomplishment for Maurici. And last but not least, like I mentioned, Ohad came up with a new second order logic algorithm that he explained to the team last week, and then the team started working on it. But also after many lengthy discussions with our academic panel, namely Dr. Franconi, he has made significant progress on the consensus building algorithm, which is, as we all know, a very core feature to the Tau platform, and he's going to tell you more about it as well. All right, so that's it for our overview of the progress, and I'll let each member of the team tell you more about what they did.
Right now, I'm going to pass it over to Professor Franconi for his introduction to the team.
Hello, everybody. My name is Enrico Franconi, and I recently joined the ITNI advisory board in my capacity of an expert in computational logic. And both from the foundational point of view, I've done a lot of research, foundational papers in computational logic applied to information systems, databases, artificial intelligence, no representation, semantic technologies, not the least natural language semantics and natural language understanding, data integration, query answering. But I also applied a lot of these techniques in industry applications. And I've done many European projects with industries and many consultancies with various companies, small enterprises and medium enterprises, but also large industries. So it's quite interesting, the kind of research that I'm doing, because it's always trying to study the real foundation, to understand the real foundation, but also to find how this foundation can be applied in real scenarios, and vice versa, trying to understand the real needs of industries and the real problems of users, and try to look at the solution, foundational solution, logic-based solutions that this problem may have without compromises. And in this sense, I've been working quite hardly in this middle ground. So I have to be understood by practitioners, have to be understood and appreciated by theoreticians, and typically it's a hard job, because theoreticians would not believe that real-world problems are interesting, and real companies, probably quite often, quite correctly, they don't believe that we need foundational solutions to problems that they can solve by quick hacking. And ITNI in this sense is completely different. So their approach to solving this idea of the platform for communication and knowledge, the economy of knowledge, has to be well founded to their view, which I completely agree with, and should be logic based, in the sense that whatever kind of support, decision, and evolution that this platform would have should be always guaranteed to be correct and satisfying truth principles. I find this idea is very challenging, but also quite focused, and the team that Ohad has set up to discuss about these things is very top notch, and there are software engineers, developers, logicians, and these discussions I'm having in this last period with them are really interesting, and they are leading us towards a definition of a better and well-founded TML language. So I believe that this kind of research, but not only research, this kind of application will have a bright future, and we are trying to find this future together. Okay, so see you next time.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Franconi. And right now I'll pass it over to Maurici for his update this month.
Hi, everyone. This month, I worked on the interpreter changes, which I mentioned at the end of last month. So last month, I began to work on a version of the interpreter that supports parallelization. And this month, I applied the full upgrade across the board. And this is quite involved because I have to make all the directives after I update the schema for quoted programs. I have to update all of the directives in order to support the new schema, which I've implemented. So that's what I did. And now this new interpreter uses lower arity relations, and it was promising to be faster. Another thing that I did is I changed the design of the interpreter. Before it was using slow synchronization rules. Before it was using synchronization rules, which was turning out to be slow. And I found a different way of implementing the interpreter, which allows it to be faster because I actually implement the fixed point check inside the interpreter. So on the interpreter front, we've had a little bit of faster performance. Another thing that I've worked on this month was applying program transformations to quoted programs. So this was done successfully, although right now there haven't been any speed improvements due to that. And the other thing which I worked on was investigation of other semantics for interpreting interpreting TML, which may be a little bit more user-friendly, but yet equivalent to the partial fixed point semantics that we currently have. And this kind of this investigation kind of stemmed from my work with the interpreter and realizing that some parts of the interpreter were a little bit verbose due to the current fixed point semantics that we were using. Yep, so that was one thing that we worked on. And a minor investigation was whether we can enlarge the domain over which PFP works. So the interpreter uses certain rules which cause relations to alternate. And I realized that if we were to use FO3 PFP or maybe some other variation of FO PFP, we'd be able to also get the program to reach fixed point. This is an alternative to other things that we're considering as well. And it has its own benefits and drawbacks. And I guess the other things that I was working on just include just general testing and documentation and bug fixing and reviews of the code. And to that end, I had a look at the proofs for the conjunctive query algorithms to see if maybe there was a way to find shortcuts, to find a way to shortcut certain operations within the algorithm and so obtain faster performance. And that has led me to some articles where they've got faster conjunctive query algorithms, which don't support unsafe negation. So I'll be looking into those over the next month. And I also hope to start on working with binary decision diagrams and the engine for solving the BDD solver for the TML engine over the next month. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Marissi. And right now I'll pass it over to Tomash for his update this month.
Hello, everyone. So this month I was working on the online TML editor. I fixed the Unicode in relation names in Tableau Review. I fixed many small UI problems, like I made scroll bars smaller. I've moved some widgets to different places, so it's more compact now. I fixed the editor experience on the smartphones, and for the new features in the editor, I added more settings into Settings tab. Settings is now stored in a browser's local storage, so it's persistent. I added ability to open multiple files at the same time, and you can close the files. There is a preview functionality for just viewing the files without intention to edit them. And also I was working on file system in the browser, so you can have some workspace. You can have files in the browsers, and they are persisted there. Also, I was working on built-ins for TML. I was getting more familiar with the current implementation because it's been a long time we were working on built-ins last time. I added some regression tests. I've made head built-ins to work them as facts, or if you have a head built-in as a fact, it works now. I've improved the printing built-ins. I added a JavaScript eval, which runs JavaScript in browser. And I was working on some caching of built-in calls. So the call of the built-in is remembered and is not repeated each step. And there's additional, it's a keyword or a modifier which you can use, which allows you to manage this caching, so you can make the call repeatedly. So yeah, that's all from me this month.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tomash. There's a lot of progress this month. What I'll do now is I'll pass it over to Luca for his update this month.
Thank you very much, Fuller. So as already mentioned, I have had the pleasure to implement the QBF solver, and I did that by first working through an introductory tutorial on BDDs by a professor called Anderson. And this basically introduces, in the core sense, a more or less efficient implementation of BDDs. So of binary decision diagrams. And then with some improvements, I worked out an implementation of a QBF solver based on that. And then I went over this implementation with OHAD, and we optimized it further. So in the end, there were results visible to reducing runtime from 5 minutes to 47 seconds. So that was quite a pleasure to see the improvement in optimized code. Yeah, and except that, I spent time on studying further C++ and database theory in order to really grasp the theory behind TML. And yeah, that's basically the progress I've done this month. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Luca. Let's pass it over to Moaz for his update this month.
Hello, everyone. So this month, I've been working on the flows of both Agoras version 1 and version 2. I've been working closely with Fuller, dispatching the flows of homepage profiles and etc. of the other flows. And we lastly finished the design of the homepage and added live sessions in the homepage. And last week we also were working on the on how we can display categories and how the user can, let's say, find their path inside Agoras. And also we've been working on dispatching all the mobile views of the missing screens, plus making some flows of how the user can deposit, withdraw, or buy Agoras and through our platform. So this is in a nutshell the progress in this month. Yeah, thank you.
Right, excellent. Thank you very much, Moaz. Let's pass it over to Andre for his update this month.
Hello, everyone. So just like Karim told you, I was mainly testing our Agoras Live platform. I covered every aspect of the platform. A little bit work left on the side of mobile view of the platform, but everything else is pretty much working okay. And also I had refactor the code of Agoras Live frontend, because currently we're looking for a front-end developer to implement more features of Agoras Live and move to Moaz created design with some additional features and solid platform like Vue.js. Also, since I ended the testing, we're ready to pass our Agoras Live platform to some professional tester to help me to find any issues I was not able to locate. And also I, along the way, implemented the feature of restoring and backupping encrypted user storage. And I will try to briefly show it to you. Okay, so what we have here. Let's log into Agoras Live. Now we will go to our wallet. It's currently cleaned because I log out. After logout, it removed encrypted storage just to demonstrate. So let's click on restore. Here is the file I backupped earlier, and it restored. And wait a second, I will decrypt it, and yes, it shows my balance over Whitebit. And with backup, it just saves the file. So that's pretty much it. Next month, I will concentrate on, of course, finishing mobile view of the platform, implement some of features Moaz was talking about. Also, I hope I will be working along a new front-end developer and tester to finish testing of Agoras Live. Thank you, guys.
And now I'll pass it over to Killian with update this month.
So this month I've been working on a few things, especially the first half of the month. I've been working more towards aggregating crypto-focused YouTubers, but so far the offers we've received were highly overpriced. So yeah, we need to still find the right YouTubers to work with, and ideally we are looking to onboard 3 to 5 YouTubers as long-term partnerships. So if you also have your favorite crypto YouTuber, we are definitely open for recommendations. Another point, together with the team, we've been on various marketing agency calls or calls with various marketing agencies, looking to find the right partner for our marketing activities in the future. And yeah, we've come to a conclusion with the partner. Yeah, hopefully very soon you'll feel the impact of that partnership. Also, Fuller and we've been on many calls with designers. We've been trying to find the world's best designers basically to collaborate with in order yeah, to work on the website, to do the rebranding. And yeah, we are still in the process of that. Early next week, we still have some calls with designers, but we are looking to hopefully soon come to a decision in that regard. At the same time, Fuller and we've been looking a lot for copywriters, which also relates to the marketing front. Ideally, we would have an in-house copywriter that we would have to teach about the project, but over time he will, as he will understand more about the project, he will be able to communicate our message to the audience and to the wider crypto and more general themed audience. So yeah, we are still in the process of finding the right copywriter in that regard. Yeah, I've also fine-tuned the Tau presentation and started involving Jamie from the community for creating an explainer video as we are getting closer to a final version of the presentation. And also been doing community support a lot of it was related to the swap to ERC20 that we've been having. So it's an ongoing swap where users over Whitebit can convert their Omni-based Agoras to ERC20-based Agoras. It's an automatic swap, so you just deposit your Omni-based Agoras, and once deposited, it automatically converts to ERC20, and you can only withdraw ERC20-based Agoras. The community support also partially was related to the listing that we announced on Bittrex, where users who previously held Agoras on Bittrex will get their balances, their Agoras balances restored. And this is also very interesting for US citizens because they will also be able to access their wallets and withdraw their Agoras, but actually not be able to trade for regulatory reasons. We also announced the launch of the Tau supporter program. The expected launch date is March 15, but you can already read into the program. The article has been published over tauchainfans.com, and we've allocated 200,000 Agoras over a 3-month period for the program, where you can basically accumulate points by completing challenges and thereby climbing up the leaderboard and earn your share of Agoras. So yeah, you're welcome to apply already for the program. You find the application form in the article, and we hope for lots of engagement in that regard. Yeah, and then last but not least, the community member of the month is Meow for his long-term support of the project and also for his active participation on Telegram this month. So thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Killian. A lot happened this month, so a lot, especially for the community. So yeah, we're working on a lot. I'll pass it over to Juan now for his update this month.
Thank you for that, and hi everybody. This month, as we commented a few weeks ago, we're planning to wrap up what is the micropayment channel or the off-chain payments with the Ethereum / our ERC20 token in order to support Agoras Live payments. That is in pretty advanced stage. We already have an off-chain payment channel or micropayment channel working on Ethereum. But as Karim put into advance, we are dealing right now with the relevant increment in gas fees from Ethereum. So even we are resorting to an off-chain mechanism. We still need to pay for 2 transactions over Ethereum in order to give support to this off-chain payment. And current, as we reached to a conclusion that current gas fees make the Agoras Live use case not very compatible with this current setup. So we are basically analyzing, or actually already launched into it, to provide the Agoras Live. This is relevant to be clear at this point. Only the Agoras Live payments at this point through what is Binance Smart Chain, which where all the code that we have put together for Ethereum is fully compatible, and for which we still need to figure out several infrastructure and integration tweaks in order to make it functional. And where, of course, the fees or the 2 transactions that we still need to pay for, still using our off-chain or micropayment channel, are way more cheap, in the range of a few cents. So we are downscaling the blockchain-related fees from 20 / $40 over Ethereum down to 20 to 40 cents on Binance Smart Chain. So that's the current focus, the current challenge. We are really running to try to get this functional as soon as possible. And that's the overall status on the Agoras live site. And of course, as Karim put into advance, and as we also mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the plan is for myself is to return to TML, and as a return task or initial main focus on TML side, we are going to give we started to give a new iteration over the second order logic support based on a new algorithm figured out by OHAP. So that's the overall the overall information I want to share with you this time.
Thank you very much, Juan. There's a lot there, and our community will really enjoy not having to pay the fees that are so high on Ethereum right now. So really cool. So from my side, I've been involved in a lot of the hiring discussions that have been discussed so far. So that's web apps developer, a front-end developer, a blockchain developer, and we're also looking for a copywriter as well. And we've also settled in the marketing firm that we're talking to right now. So yeah, there's a lot going on at IDNI right now. So things are moving fast. Hopefully Killian and I can lock down this design at ASAP and finish off the website, finish what we've started. And as has been mentioned earlier in the call, Bittrex have swapped the Omni tokens for ERC20 tokens. We hope to have a listing date from them soon. As mentioned in the article that they gave out, please don't put any of the Omni tokens, please don't send any more Omni tokens to them just yet. We are negotiating how we do an ongoing swap with them. So once I get more details there, we'll change that article and I can give you guys an update. But for now, don't send any more Omni tokens to Bittrex. Speaking of swaps, we also are working on the UKEX swap. So we hope to have that finished pretty soon. We're working with them today, actually. Hopefully we can have that wrapped up by next week and also have a final listing date for that next week too. So beyond the normal administrative tasks that I usually work on, that's it from me this week. Onwards to Ahad for his update this month.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I've been working on, as Fola said, about the swap to BTRX. Getting back to BTRX was a long-waiting goal that Fola set to himself to achieve, and he achieved it successfully. As you can see, we are very happy for that, of course. I also, as you heard, worked on an algorithm for second-order logic, which can serve as an initial algorithm that finally we will have some solver of second-order logic. It has a lot of room for improvements, which is very good news. It has the potential to improve, and there are already some ways that we can see how to improve it. So it will improve with time, and we will have also something to start with, which is very good. With the discussions with the academic panel, the maybe advancement, we can call it that, Karim mentioned, is about lifting the opinion map to maybe have a more fundamental role in the system, and by that bypass certain logical difficulties in the setting of laws of changing the laws and so on. I was also thinking about more ideas how to optimize TML speed faster. And when I say faster, I mean not only to make TML faster, but also make it TML faster sooner. One way to go will be to support more backends. So right now we have the BDD backend that we implemented. but maybe we can use allow the user to choose other backends like Souffle or maybe SQLite, things like this. And by that, on certain tasks that BDDs are not good at least not yet. After all, optimizing BDDs is an ongoing task which contain many non-trivial tasks. And maybe we will be able to, by allowing other existing backends to have TML faster, namely sooner, and it will release, hopefully release the bottleneck of TML not being fast enough, which stops us from achieving certain goals. And I was also thinking about how to start working on mainnet, how to have a blockchain implemented in TML. As we heard from Fola, we are going to hire personnel for this matter. There is, of course, a lot to design there, but the process has been started. And that's all for now.
Wow, that's a lot there, Ahad. Thank you so much. And yeah, as I had mentioned, we're at the stage where we can begin to really look at second order logic. So that's a lot to you know, there's a lot of progress being done there. So that's it from us for now. So stay on for the Q&A so we can answer all your questions this month. All right, and welcome to the Q&A. And this first question is from Dana, and it's directed directly to Luca. And they ask, for Luca, what ideas are you working on which you think could improve Tau and or Agoras? What do you hope to achieve?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So the long-term goal really is to work on model finding for second order formulas or even higher order formulas. And this is particularly important for Tau because the later vision is to just write a specification of Tau, of something, of what the program should do. And then you want to extract from these specifications a program. But this is nothing else than model finding in a higher order domain, because a program that is formed from specification can be seen as a model for these specifications, so to speak. So this is one point why it is, let's say, a necessity for the Tau environment to have a higher dimensional model finding. Then another thing is that with higher dimensional model finding, you can create databases to queries that are higher dimensional, or let's say in a logical sense, so that use higher order quantifiers. So as mentioned, Ohad came up with an algorithm that does the job for second order logic. So one of the questions is, can we do it more efficiently? Are there other ways? And over the next few months, let's see how these thoughts evolve. I will dive into the theory on how, yeah, possibly make this, yeah, even better. Let's put it that way. And then another thing, I'm coming from the back, also in algorithmic model theory, and one of the tasks is to find a model for a given formula or a set of formula, and if these are higher dimensional, again, higher order logic formulas, you want to be able to generate automatically a model. Let's say I want a group that has order 20, for example. Current model finding technology, so a group's just a mathematical object, not something to worry about, but current model finding technology is not able to generate this if this is not specifically written for groups, but in the general sense. So one of the goals is also to examine if we can actually push in a competitive setting model finding to a new level. And this is also, I'm very much looking forward to put my first task into from the personal motivation, because I basically love logics. So that's, hopefully that answers the question. And
this next question is from Chris, and they ask, When will the token swap be available for token holders in the United States? Bittrex have swapped the Omni Agoras tokens for ERC20 tokens. That doesn't mean that you can trade as a US holder ERC20 ERC20 Agoras tokens, but you can withdraw. Now, for the rest of the US token holders, we don't know when that will be coming, but we continue to work on it. And this next question is from Dana, and they ask, since performing and scaling are going to be a challenge for Tau and Agoras, what are some ideas you have for improving performance, and how much performance is enough to be useful?
All right. So as I said before, we have a long list of optimizations to the BDD layer, and those optimizations, some of them are well, I can say even all of them are hard. Otherwise, we do it beforehand. Maybe not hard, but not easy, and that's an ongoing effort. And besides, as I spoke before, we can also support. We're also thinking of support other backends for TML, not only BDDs, and by that release the performance bottleneck hopefully sooner. How do we know it's fast enough? Well, it should be fast enough to fulfill its goals in reasonable time. Its goal is to serve as a language translator, so it needs to be able to translate documents in some time reasonable to the user. And for now, it cannot even parse itself in a reasonable time. So I guess once we see progress on this front, and we will see progress on this front, I hope, and we can say that TML is fast enough in order to continue working with it.
And this next question is from Dana, and they ask, how will IP, intellectual property, be handled over something like Agoras? For example, will Agoras rank who contributed the knowledge first and reward according to this, or are there some better ideas that we have?
Yes, this is up to the users, and I don't mean up to the users in the sense that users define the system. I don't mean in this sense. I mean whether to trust certain knowledge provider is up to you. Just like in everyday life, you figure out yourself whether to trust certain knowledge provider or not, and who to hire. So if there will be some knowledge provider you are willing to pay with, that's reputable enough for you. You can deal with them. Tau cannot say who is right and who is wrong, who is good knowledge and who is bad knowledge. So it is up to the user's decisions by traditional means.
This next question is from Dana, and they ask, will Agoras Live be ported to TML? And what are the advantages or disadvantages of this?
Yes, it will be ported to TML in the future. We don't work about it now. We don't worry about it now. But yes, it will be ported to TML in the future and use the smart contract mechanism of Tau that will come. I don't see any apparent disadvantage. And the advantage is the ability to have formalized contracts mainly, and also the fact that it is controlled by its users, so they can control how the platform behaves.
This next question is from Finland, and they ask, in layman's terms, what does size of the universe mean in the Tau context, and what is its relevance?
The universe, in logical terms, another name for it is domain of discourse. You can look it up. It is basically the vocabulary that that TML program works on. If you have certain size of vocabulary, then it is related to the number of bits you need in order to encode each term in the vocabulary. and the number of bits is then reflected in the binary decision diagrams. The higher the number of bits, the exponentially larger potentially the binary decision diagrams can get. Therefore, it is very important to maintain as smaller number of bits as possible, and also from complexity theoretic considerations. The time that takes a TML program to run is as a function of the size of the universe. So it is yet another reason why we need to be very strict about its size.
And this next question is from Finland, and they ask, in what cases will computation be done directly in the Tau runtime? In what cases will computation be done in other binaries synthesized and compiled by Tau? And will it make sense to synthesize and compile just-in-time binaries per purpose? And is this how Tau chain will update blockchain node binaries?
It makes sense to compile code to binaries. From the point of view of the network, it doesn't matter how a node reached, computed, whatever it wants to send over the network. It doesn't matter whether it used methods of interpretation or compilation. But the code of Tau itself to be distributed over the network should not be distributed as binaries. It should be distributed as logical formulas that users can reason over. And that's the main advantage of the Tau technology.
And this next question is from Finland, and they ask, what will be the first languages defined for Tau? First language over Tau will be TML, and it's entirely up to the users to write the translators to other languages for other users to begin to use those languages, and so on and so forth.
So I will add to it that it is first and foremost for knowledge representation languages. TML is a logical language, but it is not suitable for knowledge representation. So the intention is to write translators for knowledge representation languages that admit the logical requirements of Tau using TML.
And this next question is from Finland, and they say, languages have different scopes and expressibility. How then can they be translated, or can they? For example, can controlled English be translated to Python, C++ to Rust? Is this a problem for Tau or only a problem for humans?
Yeah, it is a problem for humans. Humans will have to define the translation process. Tau cannot just look at the language and guess how to translate.
All right, and this next question is from Finland again, and they ask, what do you see as the progression of use cases as Tau matures? For example, will the first application of Tau be to optimize Tau, then to define a language, then to synthesize other programs, or define C++, define controlled English, discuss Tau, to then bootstrap Tau chain? Or is it still unclear and too early to tell?
The progression of the use cases will be to have large-scale discussions in general, and then in particular about what Tau next version should be like, and then the system to automatically update itself, as well as the economics of knowledge, the ability to trade knowledge.
And this next question is from Finland, and they ask, does the team foresee Tau-specific hardware for faster and or embedded processing?
Not for now, but maybe we will see in the future.
All right, and this next question is from Redneve, and they ask, if Agoras Live is being built on top of the mainnet, being the first application using the Tau chain, will its release need to be postponed until mainnet is ready?
No, we don't postpone the release of Agoras Live. Currently, we don't build it on TML. But we don't postpone it, and in the future we will integrate it into the whole Tau technology.
And this next question is from Redney, and they ask, what kind of improvements or new features can we expect if Agoras Live is built on top of the mainnet instead of being an independent application?
Yes, so as we spoke before, users will be able to control how the program behave and change it, as well as the ability to have richer contracts, and not only richer, but also contracts that can be reasoned over.
And this next question is from Marco, and they ask, what is the fundamental reason we still craft code by hand and not by program synthesis? Does Tau solve those fundamental problems?
The main reason is lack of tools, and lack of good tools, especially from performance point of view. And yes, this is a major problem that Tau intends to solve.
All right, thank you very much for your questions. That's it from us, and we'll see you in Telegram. Thank you.